Opponent, trained by Eddie Reynoso. He's the fighting pride of Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. Really needing no introduction the world over. He is a future Hall of Famer. 2 losses, 2 draws. 39 of his wins have come by way of knockout. He's the 4-division world champion, boxing first and only undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, El Orgulloso Guerrero de Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, the one and only Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Berlanga's a very talented young fighter. He's undefeated, he hasn't learned how to lose. He's a terrific fighter. He's only getting better. He has shown the ability to learn, the ability to grow, the ability to, when he gets more seasoned, which he has his last 2 fights, he's shown that improvement. He's on the right path. There's no doubt about it. I just don't know if he's got enough seasoning now to beat Canelo. I put him in the same way as Munguia. Munguia had more fights, I get it, but he didn't have that level of fights on that stage to really deal with Canelo. He had a lot of fights, and I love Munguia. The way he handles himself, everything. The way he handles himself before, after fights, what he does in the ring, the heart, the chin, everything. But I felt that he did not go into the Canelo fight. Munguia just didn't have enough experience. And that's part of the reason I felt Canelo and people felt comfortable picking him, quite frankly. Nothing against Canelo. I mean, you got to be smart. You know, that's part of the game. You manage. So especially if you're the golden boy and you have the ability to pick your spots because you bring the money. So obviously you're going to have the power to do
Fight fans, welcome back to Luxury Tainments. Today, we're bringing you an in-depth look at one of the most anticipated boxing matches of the year, Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga. The boxing world will turn its eyes to the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, where these 2 titans will clash on the grand stage of Mexican Independence Day weekend. Canelo Alvarez, an icon, a legend, and one of the most formidable fighters in the history of boxing. With 61 wins in 65 fights, including 39 knockouts, Canelo's resume reads like a who's who of boxing royalty. From his brutal battles with Triple G to his masterclass against Billy Joe Saunders, Canelo has proven time and time again that he's a force to be reckoned with. But as with all great champions, controversy shadows his greatness. Canelo has been both celebrated and scrutinized. His critics argue that he's a master at cherry-picking opponents, capitalizing on favorable judges' decisions and avoiding certain challenges like Terence Crawford and David Benavidez. Yet his loyal fans, and there are millions of them, see a fighter who is willing to take on the best and who consistently delivers electrifying performances. Beyond the debates, one thing is undeniable. Canelo Alvarez is a box office sensation. His fights routinely sell out arenas across the globe, and his pay-per-view numbers are staggering, with 15 pay-per-view bouts earning nearly $1 billion since his first major headliner against Floyd Mayweather in 2013. Edgar Berlanga, the undefeated knockout artist with a perfect record of 22 wins, 0 losses, hailing from New York with deep Puerto Rican roots, Berlanga is on a mission to carve out his own legacy in the boxing world. Known for his ferocious power, 17 of his 22 wins have come by the way of knockouts. Berlanga has captured the attention of boxing enthusiasts and casual fans alike. But as Berlanga prepares to face his toughest challenge yet in Canelo Alvarez, questions loom over his readiness. Critics point out that while Berlanga's record is impressive, it lacks the kind of high-caliber opponents that Canelo has made a career out of defeating. Is Berlanga truly prepared for the bright lights of Las Vegas, or is he simply another contender in over his head? For Berlanga, this fight isn't just about a payday, it's about proving himself on the world stage. He's expressed pride in representing Puerto Rico and the hip-hop culture, claiming to have the best of both worlds behind him. But is this confidence justified? Can he step out of the shadow of the past Puerto Rican legends like Miguel Cotto and Felix Trinidad? The stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just a fight, it's a battle for national pride as Mexico and Puerto Rico renew their long-standing rivalry in the ring. For Canelo, the fight is a chance to defend his WBC, WBA and WBO super middleweight titles on one of the most significant dates in Mexican culture, Mexican Independence Day. For Berlanga, it's an opportunity to dethrone a living legend and establish himself as a new king of the super middleweight division. However, the road to this fight hasn't been without its bumps. Canelo was recently stripped of his IBF title after choosing to fight Berlanga instead of the lesser-known Cuban mandatory challenger, William Skull. As a result, the IBF ordered a vacant title bout between Skull and Vladimir Shishkin, leaving Canelo and Berlanga to duke it out for 3 of the 4 major world titles. For fans, this fight is more than just about titles. It's about the drama, the narratives, and the chance to witness history in the making. The T-Mobile Arena will be buzzing with anticipation as these two warriors step into the ring, each carrying the hopes and dreams of their respective nations. Let's break down the potential advantages and disadvantages in this epic matchup. Advantages: high-profile matchup. Canelo's global superstar status ensures massive attention and revenue for this fight, while Berlanga's undefeated record adds an extra layer of intrigue. New challenge for Canelo. Facing a young, hungry opponent like Berlanga could add another impressive victory to Canelo's legacy. Great exposure for Berlanga. Win or lose, this fight will catapult Berlanga into the spotlight, offering him a chance to elevate his career to new heights. Potential for an exciting fight. Both fighters are known for their knockout power, promising an action-packed bout that fans won't want to miss. Market appeal. The fight's appeal to both Mexican and Puerto Rican audiences guarantees a large, passionate fan base and significant pay-per-view sales. Now let's look at the disadvantages. Experience gap. Canelo's vast experience against top-level competition could expose Berlanga's relative inexperience, leading to a one-sided fight. Risk for Berlanga's undefeated record. A loss, especially a decisive one, could halt Berlanga's momentum and raise questions about his future. Mismatch concerns. Critics might argue that the fight is a mismatch, which could lead to a less competitive and less entertaining contest. Canelo's reputation at stake. If Canelo struggles or, in the unlikely event, loses to Berlanga, it could tarnish his legacy and raise doubts about his current standing in the sport. Potential for overhype. Berlanga's knockout streak may not hold up against Canelo's elite skills, leading to a potentially underwhelming fight for fans. But the night won't just be about Canelo and Berlanga. The undercard is set to feature a host of exciting matchups that will keep fans on the edge of their seats as they await the main event. Premier Boxing Champions, PBC, is pulling out all the stops to ensure that this is a night to remember, especially with the competition from UFC 306 happening on the same night.
Does in the ring, the heart, the chin, everything. But I felt that he did not go into the Canelo fight. Munguia just didn't have enough experience. And that's part of the reason I felt Canelo and his people felt comfortable picking him. Quite nothing against Canelo. I mean, you got to be smart. You know, that's part of the game. You manage. So especially if you're the golden boy and you have the ability to pick your spots because you bring the money. So obviously, you're going to have the power to do that, where someone else can't do that because they don't bring the money, they don't bring the pay-per-view, they don't bring what Canelo brings. So he's earned that, but that's a fact. And I believe that Berlanga's in the same, sort of the same boat, where he has improved. Munguia had improved, but he still needed a few more fights at that level to season enough to handle a guy like Canelo, that experience. And I think that Berlanga still needs a little more. Still, but you know what? There's one X factor. Canelo's a little older now. And that's the one thing that he's battling against. There's a tiny bit of slip. It still is, if you're going to be honest, a little bit. But look, he's still terrific, Canelo. But nobody wins 100% of the time against Father Time. Sooner or later, Father Time gets you. And I don't know where Canelo is in that battle yet, but I know he's getting there. And maybe that he's gotten a little older since the Munguia fight. That could play for Berlanga where he gets old. Because there will be a day if he stays around long enough where you say, oh wow, he got old. Like as you're watching it, you say, wow, he got old. Wow. He really did. And so I don't know if that day's coming, but aside from that, I don't think it's here yet. Aside from that, I have to like Canelo again because same thing. Berlanga, I think, just needs a little bit more season. A little more time.
You know, some of the fans are upset with him and they're claiming they're going to boycott Canelo Berlanga, but he's going head up against UFC Noche. How do you think that's going to affect?
You know, he is going head up, and I'm a little confused by it. I'll tell you why. We know Canelo does good numbers, and we understand all that. But it doesn't seem like anybody beats UFC. And you always got to put the proof to what you say. All I say is this: do we forget a couple years ago where Canelo and them actually waited and actually put back the time they came out? They were supposed to come out about an hour earlier, and they actually put it back because they didn't want to go against UFC.
Nate Diaz Masvidal won.
Right.
Yeah, the baddest mother effort.
Right. Yeah. I didn't forget that. Did Canelo's people forget that? I don't know, but I didn't forget that. You conceded that you weren't going to go against you. You were there. It was the same night, and you had to wait because somebody whispered in your ear, "Hey, we ain't going to get an audience we want to get if we go on now because they're watching UFC." so I'm just a little So I'm a little confused. Everyone does things for different, motivations. Some of the right ones, some of the wrong ones. But I'm confused that they would go up against that horse they raced against that horse once and they didn't do that well. They didn't come in the money. So I'm just a little confused that they're going, maybe it's ego, maybe it's like now we don't, whatever it is. But it's going to be curious to see, isn't it, that if they getting ready to come in the ring and then all of a sudden they say, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna do a little dance and song act now because we have to wait a little while until the UFC has passed by. I don't know.
In the bigger picture, this fight symbolizes the ever-evolving landscape of boxing. As new stars like Berlanga emerge, they challenge the established order, pushing legends like Canelo to defend their place at the top. It's a dynamic that keeps the sport alive and thriving, ensuring that every fight night is filled with unpredictable moments and forgettable stories. As the clock ticks down to September the 14th, the world will be watching to see whether Canelo Alvarez can continue his reign atop the super middleweight division, or if Edgar Berlanga will shock the world and claim his place among boxing's elite. This is more than just a fight, it's a defining moment for both fighters, a clash of legacies, and a night that will go down in boxing history. Will Canelo's experience and skill prove too much for the young contender, or will Berlanga rise to the occasion and deliver the performance of a lifetime? One thing is for sure, this is a fight you won't want to miss. So mark your calendars for September the 14th as Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga step into the ring at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, ready to write the next chapter in the storied rivalry between Mexico and Puerto Rico. Thank you for watching Luxurytainment. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more exclusive coverage of the biggest events in sports. And have a lovely day.
I wanna see that.
Shut up. Shut up. When I talk, shut up.
I don't
When
wanna
I talk,
shut
shut
up.
up.
I don't wanna shut
When I
up.
talk, shut up. When
I
I
don't
talk,
wanna
shut up. When I talk,
And then
shut up.
what? What are you gonna do?
Too easy, because shots like that are too hard to be against the ropes. Big right hand breaks through. Lomachenko a moment ago with a nice sweeping left hook there from Munguia. Overhead punches. Big right hand gets through. Straight left hooks again. Hard left hook there. Lomachenko's hurt. Lomachenko's hurt.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing the acclaimed boxing
is Edgar Berlanga.
WBC and WBA 154-pound champion of the world.
I wanna see that.
Shut up. Shut up.
22 victories,
When I talk, shut up.
17 by knockout,
I don't wanna shut up.
Shut up.
undefeated.
I don't
Fighting
wanna
out of
shut up.
Brooklyn,
Shut up.
New York, and
And then what? What are you gonna do?
Puerto Rico. Here is Edgar Berlanga.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, his opponent, trained by Eddie Reynoso. He's the fighting pride of Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico.